there's been a lot of talk about Face Reality in the aesthetics industry and the brand as a whole, their products, you name it. And I want to talk about a previous video that we made on Face Reality. If you didn't already watch that podcast, of me explaining just my thoughts with the whole brand and the products and what really set me over the edge when it came to promoting a brand that I felt like wasn't a supportive brand for estheticians. So I want to touch on that, but I also want to talk about the fact that it wasn't the support of the brand. What really put me over the edge was the Acne Med formulation change and no acknowledgement. And I always want what's best for my clients. So when it was affecting my business and it was affecting my clients and what I want, what's best for them, it really took me over the edge. And that's what made that final decision for me to just no longer carry a lot of Face Reality products. Now I want to be very open that I do carry a very selective few products from Face Realities. I'm always listening to my clients. So if they do prefer, if the majority of people are saying that they prefer a certain product over another, I am going to always listen and put my clients first and not what others in the esthetician community are saying, because I think it's important to obviously absorb information, but do what you want with it. So yeah, I wanted to start with that and then go into if you're a new esthetician that just brought on Face Reality, or if you're a current esthetician that's a little bit confused and you don't know what to do. This podcast is to hopefully help you provide a solution for you and your business.
Yeah. With all the talks that we've been seeing about people thinking about switching over, us always feeling a responsibility to be like transparent and open, because you only get to see a sliver of maybe your opinion or what you're doing on Instagram. And what I've realized is that when you made your Instagram post saying I'm switching to Mixi and I'm bringing on Mixi, I think a lot of people maybe assume that you were just like wiping Face Reality from your shelves.
In the caption, I did say I'm keeping a select few.
Yeah, and then you're still using Face Reality peels as well. So they're still there. And now you having Mixi for a while and still having some Face Reality products, I think you're still finding that perfect balance with your clients of who needs what and who prefers what. But we had a talk late last night about this and trying to figure out how we can always do our best in the industry. And, this podcast, it's not the biggest yet. It's growing a lot, but we always want to make sure that people, if they want to go back and look through, they can hear your full opinion and not just a sliver of it on your Instagram story saying, I'm not doing this or I am doing that. So yeah, I do want to hear more about how, switching and bringing on Mixi, why you brought them on, where the gaps were that you filled with them, and then where you still are cherry picking between both lines.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty of owning your own business is number one, you can cherry pick products. But when it comes to my acne bootcamp transformations, I solely keep them on one line because the formulations and making sure that it is consistent before I start bringing in other products. So typically I will keep them on one line. If somebody's feeling dry though, like extremely dry, for instance, I'll put them on Trios from Skin Better. So there is a beauty of cherry picking your products, but when it comes down to your results and consistency and what's best for your clients, I think that, that was the biggest point for me is if it doesn't align with my, integrity and what is right for my clients, then I'm not going to support a brand that is changing a formulation and not addressing it, that there is a significant issue. Yep. Their new formulation is micronized benzoyl peroxide, which pretty much just hits the pore quicker. And there has been a lot of adverse reactions from it versus Mixi's benzoyl peroxide is not that way. So there's a big difference in formulation, which is the Acne Med was honestly the tip of the iceberg. Yeah. And I was like, wow, I have been repping this brand for years with no acknowledgement. I'm like, okay, like I get it. I mean, I don't get it actually. I try to understand, but I truthfully, I'm like, okay. And this isn't to be prideful, but when you're a bigger account and you're like literally are tagging Face Reality over and over and over and over again, and they never message you or say thank you or literally crickets, like nothing. It starts to get frustrating after a while. And I know that, truthfully, bigger accounts have bigger responsibilities. And it's not a small business by any means. So to me, it's like the bare minimum you could do is just like a picture. And I never, ever once got anything from there. So again, kind of going all over the place because there's a lot of emotions, but number one is community support. I think that a lot of brands don't do well in, and specifically Face Reality. And I know that they've been saying that they're going to try to do better. But to me, like, I'm like, wow, it's a little bit too late. It feels like, it kind of feels like you're in a relationship and you keep trying and trying and trying with a brand. And then it's like, okay, well now my feelings towards you are, you know, completely changed. And there was just another, esthetician in the group, and I hate that those groups are sometimes drama. Like I'm not for that, but there was a recent situation where an esthetician had an influencer, and it was like this huge thing. And I feel like Face Reality has just not handled things like in a, I guess, what would you say, a professional manner. And I think as a brand and like CEO, like should be a little bit more mature in my opinion. But yeah, there's that. But the main thing, again, what really, where I was like a year and I was like, oh, like, I don't know. I'm just not feeling like the support that I want from the brand, and them bringing in like influencers and just making it more consumer based versus for the esthetician, which I get from a certain standpoint. Bringing in influencers will bring in more visibility for an esthetician. I do understand that, but I don't believe that the influencer should be praised. Like, I feel like it's like you should praise the provider that provided those results and give an esthetician a spotlight to shine. And I haven't seen that personally. And again, the main things with the products is, I will say, I feel like they may have changed certain products like Gentle Cleanser, the toner. I've had clients have reactions that never had reactions to those products. And then their advanced acne med was truly the turning point for me, where I was like, okay, I can no longer like have this as my main acne line if that's one of my main ingredients for helping my clients clear and maintain their acne. And Mixi just was the solution to the problem that I had in the moment. And I do really appreciate the support of Mixi as a brand, and that they are a very supportive brand, and that they are good quality products. And I'm very open. I still carry Face Reality. I still use their peels. I think they're great. I use their enzyme. I use a lot of their back bar products, and there is nothing wrong with that system of theirs. Love their peels, love their back bar products. I actually really like a lot of their products. But when it comes to like the main ingredients of treating acne for my clients, that's where that can't be compromised, and I can't be, this is my business on the line. And when it comes down to support products, all the things, it's really important for me to feel good about it at the end of the day and feel like my clients are getting the best of the best. And when that doesn't happen, it's like, oh wow, I have to do something quick. Like, I was able to provide really quick results for my clients with their acne, like within 3 months. But when I started to realize that after 3 months, their skin was almost getting worse with the new acne med formulation, I was like, I can't be doing this anymore. I need to make a switch. Actually reached out to Face Reality support, and I was like, hey, this is like not a usual reaction. And they just brushed it off like it's not their product, that it's like you. And I'm like, oh, okay, I've never had this issue before. And the more that I like talked to other estheticians and was really trying to like figure out an answer, because I was so confused, the more that I realized that it's actually the product and the formulation. It's not me, because I was feeling crazy.
Yeah, I think you just went on quite a bender there of ideas and consciousness on this. And I think, with the product thing always is, you just doing what's best for your clients. And we've been talking about this a lot, to making sure that you're always aligned on like, okay, I'm always going to do what's best for treating my clients, and nothing can be prideful. And I think as a brand, and a situation that I feel like we want to shake up is, I think product and brand support to estheticians. I think a lot of brands over the next couple of years are really going to be waking up to this. And I'd like to be, kind of a company and a team that supports estheticians and pushes estheticians forward on like what's right and what's wrong. Face Reality isn't the only brand that screws things up like this. I think Skin Better could do better, no pun intended. I think, I mean, Hydrofacial does a pretty good job, at least kind of making the estheticians like feel seen and heard with it when it comes to before and afters and sharing content, and they're constantly looking and I feel like they're in the Instagram space of seeing like good Hydrofacial content, and they're taking it and posting it and tagging estheticians, which goes a long way, or even sharing before and afters. I mean, we found estheticians that we follow because of Hydrofacial posting a before and after of theirs, and then finding a brand that like, oh, we love this girl's stuff. We love what she's doing. And I think that unless we all kind of come together and look at brands and go, okay, this is the not right way to do things, we can start to kind of show brands like, here is a way to support estheticians. We're not looking for more money from you guys. You guys have a business. We're fine with that. But knowing that if you partner together, everybody wins. Yeah. Right. So when a brand successfully partners with estheticians, everybody benefits off that. Estheticians feel seen and feel heard. Brands can do better by making better products. Their marketing can get better. I do feel like Face Reality is kind of missing the mark when it comes to marketing. I see a lot of amazing estheticians that are getting just insane results, and the only ad I'm seeing from Face Reality is a random esthetician yelling at me that I need to sign up for Face Reality's acne program, right? And I'm sure you see the ads. I get them on my own personal Facebook now, and I could probably go on Facebook right now
or
and
how
see
much
an
I
ad.
make as in a
how
day.
much I make. Yeah, this is if you can jump on and join. This is how much you can make in a day, which I just feel like is, and I mean, it must be ads that work for them, but it just kind of feels a little bit slimy when I think in reality, they could be doing a little bit better. I think they could be pushing more estheticians and using the face of more people and kind of really just bringing, it's such a unique and special thing to take somebody through the acne boot camp and the results and the way clients feel. And I just feel like the brand isn't like portraying how special that is, like the bond an esthetician and a client has together, which maybe is getting into like too markety. But anyways, I do think that estheticians kind of standing up and going, hey, I'm happy about something, can give all brands a look into what's in the mind of estheticians and what helps them feel connected as a business. And I've told you this recently because we've had estheticians tell us now, like, well, nothing can change. It's just not going to, they just don't care. They just don't care. And I told you, I'm like, if you think about, influencers in the makeup world, 5-6 years ago, they weren't sending makeup to every major influencer to make videos on, right? It was it was an industry that they did the same thing. They're like, what are you going to do? Go buy the makeup. Until influencers created makeup lines and started going like, this is how you support this influencer community by sending them PR packages, by sending them free stuff, by spreading yourself really wide and going like, hey, we'll send it to you. You just review it honestly, right? And I think I think the skincare industry can go in that direction because estheticians, they are influencers. If it's with a lot of followers or not, they are influencing people. They are influencing clients, right? And I think that the industry can change if estheticians come together and everyone makes the push at the same time to go, this is how you treat. It counts that, your estheticians that are supporting your brand. Yeah.
Right? And I think it's like one of those things is, I think this is a separate situation that honestly, I personally wouldn't have like probably jump ship Face Reality for, because their products are consistent before, like before the Acne Med situation, they were consistent. And I was like, as long as my clients are getting taken care of, like, it's not about me, it's about my clients. And I never wanted to make a huge drama thing out of it. And not that I know that I didn't, like, even like watching my old video, I was just speaking from the heart of how I don't feel supported by the brand and how their Acne Med formulation just sucks as an esthetician. And when I felt like I needed something different for my business, I felt like that was the right direction for me. And I want you guys to know that if you're an esthetician that's confused or like feels shameful of carrying Face Reality, don't feel that way, because truthfully, the the products are really good when it comes to, you know, a consistent mandelic. If you're needing the basics for your clients, I mean, not every single client is going to have issues, guys. That's why we carry multiple lines. You get to choose what you love, and what resonates with you and what you truly feel like works best for your clients. But the biggest thing for me, again, I've said it like 10 times now, it was truly the Acne Med formulation, and feeling like maybe they're sneakily changing some other formulations that I didn't realize that why my clients were having issues. It kind of just feels like they're going the cheaper route. Coming out with pimple patches feels very to the consumer.
Yep.
And there's just a lot of red flags, and I don't like the direction of the brand and where it's going. So again, when it's compromising my client's skin, I'm not going to let that happen. And so I had to act fast. And again, if you carry Face Reality and you're really happy, there's nothing wrong with that. And if you are loving Face Reality's products, truthfully, like, keep carrying them. And if you're noticing some issues with the benzoyl peroxide, then switch it out for Mixi. You don't have to make like a huge jump just because other people are. And I'm here to tell you that just because I did it doesn't mean you have to too.
Yep. And I think just to break down a little bit of like what it means for us to kind of like distance ourselves from Face Reality is it doesn't mean that we're removing all their products and you're never going to buy anything from them ever again. But really what it meant for us is, you know, if we're going to kind of go and shout about a brand from the rooftops, and us having a bigger platform now between YouTube and the Patreon and even Instagram, we just if we're going to shout a brand from the rooftop, we want to make sure that if we're going to tell people how an amazing a brand is and not just the good products, we want to make sure that brand is supportive over us and other estheticians as well.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, us separating ourselves from Face Reality was more of about like, hey, let's just not promote them to the internet anymore. You know, I mean, if your clients, whatever, and there's other brands too that we carry, and like maybe like Hydrinity, that we don't go and shout Hydrinity from the rooftops, and you sell a decent amount of Hydrinity. And I think for us, it just meant like, okay, let's just separate ourselves. Let's stop chasing a brand down to get their attention and make them like us and care about us when we care a lot about them when they don't. So it was more about like kind of like what we're putting out to the internet. But at the end of the day, when your clients come in and they're looking for a good product, you're not going to go, no, not Face Reality, right? Like if they need something, you're just going to get them that product.
And when I wanted to mention really, wait, were you done?
No, you could jump in. I was just kind of mentioning that's what it looks like for us when we're kind of separating ourselves from a brand. Yeah.
I forgot to mention too with Face Reality versus Mixi that there's not a competition per se. Like I want it to like, I want you guys to know that there's no like, oh, well, is this better or that better? Like, no, it's truthfully like the biggest difference that I've seen too with my clients is that Mixi is more gentle, hydrating, better for the overall skin health, in my opinion. Mixi has no alcohol in her products, and Face Reality does. I know that's like a hot take in the aesthetics industry, but I've personally noticed, especially in Arizona, that my clients have been doing way better on Mixi. And again, I was able to clear clients just fine until they changed their Acne Med formulation. I mean, not that I couldn't get them clear, but it's just like not the same. Yep. And again, majority of my clients' skin is like they can't get clear or it's getting worse.
Yeah, and you mentioned last night about certain clients that you felt like Face Reality can still or maybe is best for certain products. So what is that? Like what clients, what would you see? And I know everybody is so different.
I think a lot of my like oily skin clients are like, they love that squeaky clean feeling that kind of like feels like you're stripping the skin, which I think that like moisture balance toner for some people might feel a little bit more squeaky clean versus the mandelic that contains that. So I think you'll notice a big difference. I mean, for somebody like me that couldn't use Face Reality's mandelic morning and night, I can use Mixi's morning and night now, somebody who has more dry skin versus oily skin. So you will notice those differences between the two products. But like, honestly, you could use either or. I mean, everybody's just so different. I just think that for some of my clients, I can see where they may notice the change, even though it may be better for their skin. They've been so used to like a different feel of a product that they're like, wait, but this doesn't feel the same, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think a big learning, experience that we went through of switching over and seeing the way a lot of estheticians reacted is just making sure that people continue to go out and try things on their own. Mm-hmm. And, even for us kind of separating ourselves a little bit from Face Reality doesn't mean that the products aren't good anymore. It doesn't mean that we're going to ever jeopardize or sacrifice, good results for your clients. And moving forward, we're just going to continue to walk down that line with, with any product lines or any companies that we work with moving forward. And I think that as a whole, the industry, it's just modernizing so quickly and changing so quickly, and everyone just needs to kind of hang on. I think that there's a lot of, because Mixi having similar products, people have felt like this like weird beef, like they have to pick between Mixi and Face Reality. Like you can't cherry pick like you can for any other line. Yeah. Of course, every line wishes you only carried them and were strict to them. But I think most of them realize now that, hey, some people are focusing on one thing and becoming really, really good at that. And we can't keep up. Skin Better cannot keep up to color science, right? And Hydrinity can't keep up to, say, Skin Better in certain avenues and aspects. And I think that as estheticians, you should constantly always look at what's best for your clients and be trying new things. And us being a bigger account, when we make bigger decisions, we also just think about the reach that we get, and kind of our brand as a whole that is pretty large, and I feel like continuing to grow, that we just want to make sure that as we're pointing younger and newer estheticians in directions, that we feel really good that we can sleep at night. Because I'd hate that if we're pointing people towards a brand and then they go, hey, how come you didn't tell me they are like this? And we're like, oh, well, sorry about that. Yeah, we knew that all along.
Yeah.
So then
I was a little bit disappointed when I first brought on Face Reality that I had, but like literally I missed the cutoff that they changed it from you get access to the course, you pay $500, and then that money goes towards your opening order. I do feel like they should have kept that. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I would probably.
But I think that the course is like so old that I almost feel like it's timeless information, but at the same time, I believe it could be elevated.
Yeah, if you're gonna up the price,
and they have
for things,
so many overwhelming protocols, it's not simplified. And I understand that there's a ton of information, but you truly have to go through the course, figure out what works for you, kind of figure out what is working best for your clients. And I remember when I first got certified, it was such an amazing course for me, and I wouldn't be where I am at today if it wasn't for that course, truthfully. But I also feel like it should include more in that, or even just the fact that they upped the price to $800 and then you have to go through another certification for level 2. Every single person that I've talked to for level 2 said that it wasn't worth it, and that they just felt like they had to do it to get a stamp on the locator.
Yeah, that's a pretty shady thing for us. That's things like that with brands that really frustrate us, because you didn't pay for level 2, and we used to be the top on the Face Reality acne locator, and now we're like 4th or 5th one down, even though we have a business that's been in business for longer, and you treat a lot of acne clients and have cleared a lot of acne clients, which just feels like it becomes like a pay to play. Which is it's not good for clients at that point. Now we're also putting down the clients, because then now a girl who just starts that has, rich parents and just pays for both of them is going to rank above an esthetician who's cleared, 50, 60 clients, right? Which I just feel like at that point, your brand, you're going to go backwards, right? Yeah. So things like that is what kind of turned us off to Face Reality as kind of a brand, and doing things like that we're like, hey, that just feels like it feels not, I don't know if it's not fair. I mean, lots of things aren't fair, but it just feels like a cash grab for a business, which we just don't like. We don't like those things.
I just look at myself in that position as a company. If I was charging something like that, I personally would never do that. And I understand you should charge for a course or a valuable information that estheticians can buy. I am all for that. There's tons of courses out there. I just invested in 2 last week, and I'm all for that. I just don't like the way that you can feel that it's a money grab.
Yep. Yeah, well, the fact that they raised the price on the course and didn't add anything also was it's a red flag to go, hey guys, we didn't update and improve. We just raised the price. Yeah. Right. I mean, raising prices of products, I think, is understandable with inflation and things coming arise. But the course is already hosted. I think they should
give people a little bit more heads up, though, not a month.
That they're raising the price to all of it. Yeah. So I think stuff like that. I mean, every business can run how they do, but I mean, us having the Patreon and charging for that, I just feel like the only way we could charge more is if we're adding more. To
Yeah.
keep what you have and to up the price just feels something that's like it almost just, they've kind of monopolized the acne space in a lot of ways. And
Yeah.
when anything becomes monopolized like that, it's Hydrofacial also has had some issues in the past. I mean, they're not charging for courses and things yet, but they have the space monopolized.
Yeah.
So they kind of can control the market, but it doesn't make it okay. And it doesn't mean people can't voice their opinions. And these brands do have to realize that if estheticians turn their back and if they do go find something new, you know, you're not immune to,
Yeah.
you know, like people turning and finding something else, or all you're doing is you're inspiring your competition to go and do what you're not.
Yeah.
I mean, like even with Face Reality itself, like, okay, people would just go and find, you know, a different course. I mean, there's people like us that are dumping tons of more acne information, or Acne Maddie, who's continuously putting more and more stuff out into the market where
Yeah.
as a brand, you can get to a point where people just go, we don't have to use you anymore.
Yeah.
Right. And then what? Right. Then all you got to do is do a little bit and it would have went a long way. So
Yeah.
I think, things like that make us a little bit frustrated. But yeah, that was a really long conversation. I hope that people could take what they want out of that and better hear your understanding and your opinion on this, and kind of have a better, kind of bigger picture of how we're navigating and how we're moving going forward. But before we get out of here, we do want to announce that by the time this podcast will drop, tickets will be live for our in-person event here in Scottsdale, Arizona for February 28th of next year. It's called the Aesthetic Experience. Tickets are on sale. The link will be in your bio. This will be an event, one of its kind, never before done, by estheticians, for estheticians. It'll be a fairly large event, but then small in the way that you can really connect and grow as a community. And we are extremely excited for it.
I'm going to be teaching on how to build a premium brand. There's going to be ingredient 101, acne 101, marketing your business, scaling to 6 figures and beyond. We are so excited to bring everybody together. There will only be 100 tickets left, so make sure you grab them. Pre-sale tickets sold out within 5 minutes, which is so crazy. We are so grateful for all of your guys' support. But I just wanted to end this podcast with thank you so much for your support. I hope that these videos are helpful. This video, again, is not to spread drama or misleading information. I hope that you can watch this video and help it provide a solution for your practice and what's best for you and your clients. But make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.